Hi, this is Earth Angel Ascension, back with another video. Today I'm going to make a video of the tactics used in organized stalking. So if you are a targeted individual, this video is for you. If you are in this program, there's a good chance you've been in since birth, but it was covert and you didn't really notice it until a point where they made it overt. Uh, what you might start to notice when they do make it overt is like people like with the same color car parked on your street. So say for example, they might have 10 red cars lined in front of your house or 10 white cars. Those are the in US gang stalking by the US government, those are the colors they like to use, are red and white. When it first became overt to me, it was in approximately 2014 or 15. I was living on a street and I would see red Coca-Cola trucks, red Crisafulli plumbing trucks, red trucks, red cars. And then at that time I wasn't driving, so I would walk to work. And at every corner, at the same time I would get to that corner, I would be met with a red car at that exact second. And it was all the way to work, which was wild. It really threw me through a loop. Something else you'll notice, if you live in an apartment, chances are that you have neighbors that will leave very shortly when this becomes overt, meaning that if they've been there for years, all of a sudden they'll leave. And you'll get neighbors in that will constantly do noise campaigns. And I'm going to explain noise campaigns, what they do. One tactic is they'll move people on top of you, and like throughout the whole night, you'll be trying to sleep, and they'll do sudden drops on the floor, like as if they were dropping a barbell weight plate, just like randomly, and it'll throw you through a loop because you'll immediately be startled. And that's the whole point of this, is they want to make you feel uncomfortable and constantly be stressed out. So that's one of the ways. And the other thing they'll do is stomp the floor. And whatever room you go into, that person somehow will follow you into the room and do the noise campaigns over you. So, like a lot of people say, well, I'll go in my living room, I'll change my bedroom to the living room. It doesn't matter. Whatever room you end up in, they know, and they'll create the noise campaigns above you. And if you do leave that room and go into the next room, they'll follow you. And then the people that are adjacent to you, or an apartment that might be adjacent to you, they will move in with the infiltrators. Usually InfraGard sends these people, and what they are is like paid informants. So every time you leave, they monitor you. And on top of that, those people, when you go home, what they did for me is they would just open and close their door 100 times in a row until I knocked on the door, and then it stopped for a week. And then after that week, it went right back to it, where as soon as I get home, they just open and slam their door. And it went on until I moved out of that house. Another thing you'll notice is there'll be drones above your house at night. Usually the drones will start if you, say for example, they move the informants in next door, and you move out into a place like your own house or an apartment on like an upper top floor all by yourself, they won't be able to have informants up there. So that's when the drones will start above you. It's another way to just monitor every move you make. Now, another thing they do is directed energy weapons. You'll feel like something is on top of your head. It almost feels like somebody's putting pressure on your forehead and on the sides of your temples at all times, like you have this thing like stuck to you. And it's the directed energy weapons. They're basically using frequency to lower your vibration. Let's go over another one. Induced smells. In all wars, they've done this, where they've actually sprayed like the combatants that they were trying to defeat below with like different agents that, when they inhaled, would make them fearful or anxious or uncomfortable, or cause them to get constant diarrhea. It's just another thing they've always had in their arsenal. And if you're targeted, they will start using this where they'll do induced smells above your apartment. And somebody said, how do they do it? Well, if they have these satellites and drones, they can do it right from there. And it won't be every single minute because that would be too explainable. Usually what they do with me is they wait till I go to sleep, and then I wake up gagging and coughing when I'm most vulnerable. That's how the cowards they are. They don't do it when you're awake, because then you call the fire department or NCON, and then you have a case. Even when if you do call while you are sleeping, you have potential for a case if they can register what the smell is, so they have to be very careful. So they don't do that every single night. They'll do it when you're not expecting it. So if, say, tonight they give you a night off from it, tomorrow they'll do it. And let's go on to the vehicles harassment. So when you're driving, you will be tailgated at all times. That's like 100% going to happen to you. And not only will you be tailgated, they will bright you from behind, up and down, up and down. And then if there's a car on the other side, I've had multiple cars and I've made videos about my cars. Every single one. Right now I'm riding around in a Tesla with normal, like I'll show the lights on it. Well, let's see. I have the normal beams on. And I get high beamed every single car coming at me, even though these are not halogen lights. These are just the factory stock lights. In order to activate, see, now I have the high beams on. Now I have the low beams on. But the car automatically shifts into a high beam mode when you're on like a deserted street and it's very dark. It's very advanced technology. So these cars that are high beaming me in front of me have no reason to, because the car automatically has the low beams on. So this is something that happens. Also, besides the tailgating, what they do is they have somebody almost on every corner waiting to pull out, like in front of you. Say, for example, you're going straight. Somebody will pull out in front of you and do 10 miles per hour. This happens to me almost on every corner. And it's like I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh my God, there's another one, and they don't even look. They'll just pull out. And then besides like going slow, they just pull out. So they don't even look to acknowledge that there's another car coming to begin with. And if they do get in front of you, which they will, usually you'll have to slam on the brakes, or, you'll have to maneuver around them. But they'll do, if the speed limit's 40, they'll probably do 20. They do at least 10 miles per hour under. I actually noticed a car doing this to me, and there was a cop behind me. He actually pulled the car over. This was amazing. This was like a win. And this was going about 3 weeks ago during the day. And I'm not sure what road it was on, but it was in Schenectady. And I was getting pissed. And I looked in my mirror and I could see how mad he was getting. So he went in front of me and pulled the car over, which was amazing. It was the first win I've ever seen against this program. See, these people, either they're paid or they're under like a, frequency control through satellites. So basically, the targeted individuals, they can monitor everything we do by remote neural monitoring. They have our brain mapped, so they know where we are at all times, and they can influence the people around us. So are these people under mind control? Yes. Are some of them paid? Yes. So it's both. Another thing they'll do is, say, for example, you have to make a left-hand turn. They will purposely slow down as slow as they possibly can on the opposing side so you cannot pull out and make that turn. And what that also does is when there's cars behind them, it synchronizes those cars behind them, so it almost guarantees that you'll never be able to pull out. So the slower they go, the more cars behind them catch up, and it follows like a line where it just makes it like a bitch to get out. Let's see what else they'll do. Random beeping, car alarms. When you pass by them, a lot of times they'll beep. And again, it's just to get your attention or throw you off. If you're in a parking lot, chances are there'll be car alarms going off, like almost like sporadically, like around you, which is real weird. Another thing they'll do is have constant road work going on. Like just all of a sudden, they'll have just cars like Niagara Mohawk trucks parked in the middle of the road. And you'll be like, oh my God, what the fuck are they doing? This is just another aspect of the program. Fire trucks going by you, and when they go by you, they'll put their sirens on and lights on. And then after they pass you, they turn them off. Same with the ambulances. They'll show up almost everywhere you are all night long. They do it a little less during the day because during the day, there's more traffic, so it makes it a little hard for them to play this game. But at night, if you're by yourself, chances are you'll see fire trucks and ambulances. And also the other thing is like when you pull up to a turn, you'll notice that the opposing car will like almost fight to get your attention. Like you can almost feel like them staring you down, like with very heavy like glares. And like, again, they'll beep at you if you don't look at them. I don't even look when they beep. I just keep going. So that's something I would recommend to you. And bicycles, that's another thing. They'll have bicycles riding in the middle of the road or people walking in the middle of the road to act as a deterrent to keep you, from driving. I was driving down one road from my house, and there was a guy right in front of my car just walking at my car, even though both sidewalks, right and left, were completely clear. No snow, nothing on them. And I just stopped. And I put my hands up in the air like, what are you doing, And eventually he moved a little bit over to the left because I wasn't going to move over into the left lane because there was oncoming cars coming in the other direction. So this is just another way they try to aggravate you. Here, you can hear the noise. You can hear the car alarms going off now. But anyways, this is when also if you're walking, let's get to another topic. That's the vehicular harassment. Let's get to if you're walking, there'll always seem to be somebody walking like right at you and they'll not move. It's like wild. It's like they're zombies. They walk right at you as if, they don't even see you. It's like wild. And I actually believe they try to bump into you. Like, they've done it to me like multiple times. I used to, really try to divert my path, but I realized it's just ridiculous. How many, you shouldn't have to walk on the other side of the street because somebody, is not giving you any space. That's nonsense. It's a form of harassment. It's called street harassment when they do this, when they try to shoulder check you or, they try to take up the whole sidewalk so you can't walk, which is nonsense. Let's see, let's get into other stuff they'll do. They'll try to prevent you from sleeping, through noise campaigns. Sometimes they'll try to prevent you from sleeping through this frequency, like the directed energy weapons. You'll feel it like you just can't get into a deep sleep. And then what happens is you'll get so exhausted that you'll collapse because it'll become too much. So it's actually good. You'll sleep deeply that night, followed by a few nights where you can't again, or you don't get good sleep. What's another one? Okay, let's go through another one. Birds. They will have birds that will dive at your windows at your house. Both apartments, when I was living previously in Albany in an upstairs apartment, and they would dive at my windows like pretty much all day long. And this one, I moved to Schenectady where I'm originally from, and they do it constantly, along with the squawking. So how they influence them, they beam them with directed energy weapons to do this stuff. Or if you are walking, the birds will, like a flock of them, will dive like right at your head, say if you're running or walking, which is wild. I had that happen twice last Friday. I went for like a 3 or 4 mile walk, and the birds missed my forehead I had to duck a little bit. Otherwise, they would have hit my forehead, which was wild. But I felt like their feathers like right in my hair, which is wild. This is another tactic and techniques. I want to get through all the list. I'm making this video, so if anybody is going through this, which is both physical and spiritual, basically it is the government, but they're getting false information from you through these demonic entities and these rulers of this realm, like archons. What's another name? Reptilians that have always been like what's called the gatekeepers here, silent rulers here. And basically, they see you as a threat to the system here. And that's why this comes against you. You're becoming aware of what this is. You see through the smoke screen. So this is just a quick video of some of the stuff you might go through as a targeted individual. Let's get to another thing. Along with all the people that once were close to you will all of a sudden become non-existent. In any relationships you try to form, one day they'll be there and one day they won't. One day on, one day off, because it's just they're being influenced through this mind control. And eventually, if you do become close to somebody, and it's very hard in this program because, like I said, they influence everybody's thoughts that you talk to through the mind control technology. If you do get close to somebody, they will try to have that person usually break your heart or do something very traumatic to you that will really, really mess you up for like a while. Because they want to feed off of that trauma that they induce in you. So they'll let that person get really close to you, and then they'll remove that person on purpose after they know that there's like a seal there, like a tight glue there. That's when that person will be ejected from your life. And the people that you would once talk to maybe once or twice a week will just no longer talk to you. That's one thing, 100% sure. And you could have the most magnetic personality. And what I notice is I have a magnetic personality, is I can do like one-day meetings and the people are like, oh my God, like they want to talk to me for hours. But again, then the next day when they, these rulers, because they follow us, they're invisible, they're demons, they're entities. So what they do is when that person leaves us, they just go, they're still following that person and putting thoughts in their mind. If anybody tells you that there's not, like this is not a spiritual realm and that around all of us are spirits, then they're crazy. And these entities, these fallen angels and demons run this realm. Jesus made it clear. This is when Satan took him to the highest mountain and said, if you just bow down and worship me, I will give you all of this. And Jesus didn't say it wasn't yours to give. He knew it was his to give. So this is kind of a test here. So, don't give up. Don't let this program affect you. Don't let it rock you. You'll go through a phase where, you won't want to leave your house for a while. That might last a year, might last 2 years, might last 3 years. Everybody's different. But I've said in previous videos, the only way to get through this program is to go through it. And that means getting out and doing everything you once did before you were targeted. So you it's like, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, you went outside without a raincoat on. The first time it would be very, very annoying. Oh my God. Maybe the second time, third time, fourth time. But doing this like 20, 30 times, after a while, you could go out without that raincoat on. You'll get used to it. So this is how you have to do with this program as well. Same thing. The only way to adapt to it is to go through it. And, don't let them keep you inside. Don't let them, they might be able to isolate you. They probably will isolate you. But don't let them keep you from being you. Even if you are isolated, spend that time getting close to the Lord. They can never isolate you from that. If anything, I believe this program is made so you become super close to the Lord. Because, people will fail you all the time, but Father will never fail you. He wants more for you than any person on this earth, including yourself, want for yourself. So, don't take this as a negative thing. I'm just giving you this in case you are targeted or you're new to being targeted, the stuff they do. And just know that another way they do it is if you go into a store, again, there'll be constant people blocking in, like roadblocks. Anywhere you go, they try to block you. They use cars to block you, people to block you, buses to block you. There's 3 principles of the gang stalking program, and I'm going to tell you what they are: crowding, blocking, and crossing. Those are the 3. After much research on my own and not from anybody else, I came up with those big 3. Everywhere I want to go, they want to crowd me. So if I go by a parking spot by myself, they want to have 50 cars around me or 50 people around me coming up and asking random questions. That's another thing they'll do, is send people to ask you random questions, because it's a way to get your attention off yourself and attention outward. Now if somebody does come up and ask you a good question, not something that's like as simple as where's the store, and you're right in front of the store, then absolutely talk to that person. Shift their program against them. Be calm, be cordial. You don't always have to, be like a robot. Now if they do ask you a stupid question and it's like you could tell it's like a setup, then just ignore it. Don't get them mad or whatever. Sometimes on top of that, the random stupid stuff, there is actual people that, if you are targeted, you have a huge light on you. So you're going to draw people in. The light doesn't draw in just the light. It also draws in the mosquitoes. So sometimes people look up to you and, give them the message, give them whatever they need, Don't be mad at them. So try not to have anger in your heart, too. That's what they want, is you constantly angry. Because these people are just used like puppets. So don't be mad at them so much as mad at these administrators. And I made this quick video last night, and I didn't put it on here, but I was going to send a quick FU to these Matrix administrators, because you have no power over me. I'm not going to ever be able to become one of your puppets or robots, and I'm not going to hate them either, because I realize they're not even in control of their own vessels. You're controlling them, and you're losers. But anyways, this is a quick video for anybody that is going through this program. Don't give up. And don't see a doctor, like a psychiatrist or anything like that, because they're all paid by the federal government. So they're going to tell you have schizophrenia, even though when this stuff, they could see clear as day, there's 50 drones above you. So if you had schizophrenia, then why are those 50 drones above you following you? A lot of this stuff doesn't even make any sense. And they'll be quick to label that on you without even investigating if you are telling the truth, which you are. So, and that's how they get away with doing this program, because it's just plausible deniability. It happens so infrequently that people don't think it's real when it does happen. And this, like I said, there was a guy, Myron May, who claimed all of this stuff I'm talking about, and they told him he was crazy, and he was absolutely telling the truth. So, if you're targeted, you're not crazy. This is a spiritual battle. And it first happens in the spiritual, but it's going on in the physical, because these entities, like I said before in previous video, run all governments of the world. They always have. Like I said, when Jesus was taken to the top of the mountain, he didn't say those aren't yours to give, Satan. So it's always been the same rulers. But anyways, don't give up. Don't give in. Spend time getting close to the Lord. This is a perfect time for you, if you are isolated, to get in Scripture. Read your Bible. Pray. You don't have to go to a church. Don't go to a church, because churches are infiltrated. Get on your knees. Pray constantly. Pray without ceasing, like the Bible says. Fast. Work out. Go for a nice run. Running is very powerful. I'm going to say something about cardiovascular work as a targeted individual. Strength training is important, but cardiovascular is even more important, because the magnetic body is where most of these attacks are going on. So you want to get your energy systems flowing. And what happens when you do cardio is your energy systems work faster. So your energy wheels, which are called the chakras, spin faster. So you want to keep yourself in that state. It keeps you in a higher vibrational state. Because you're taking fresh oxygen in, and you're getting rid of toxins, which allow these chakra wheels, which are your energy centers, to spin better. So, make sure you're doing your cardio. If you want to do weights, fine. If you don't, just do cardio. But definitely do some exercise. Your body is your temple. Do not smoke cigarettes. Let's get on another what they'll do for harassment. Say, for example, you go to a car wash or something, or you go outside, they'll try to purposely put somebody around you smoking a cigarette, and it will be nasty. And again, that's just to smudge your magnetic body, because these smoke demons and entities just jump onto your vessel. You could feel them on these smokers. Maybe some people are not as spiritually sensitive or as aware, but when I go near a smoker, I don't even need to smell a cigarette. I know they're a smoker, because they have this negative energies or these negative entities on them. So just move away, get away. If you're at a car wash or whatever, move your car. Like I had it happen to me, and I was vacuuming this Tesla out, and a girl pulled up right to the right of it and got out of her car and didn't. I was vacuuming, and she was on the other side to use her vacuum. She got out of her car and just started staring at me, smoking a cigarette. And I said, "Are you all right?" And she looked like she jumped out of like she didn't even realize she was staring so hard. It was wild. But then I said to her, "Do you mind not smoking that? It's going in my car and in my lungs, and I'm a non-smoker. I'm working on my health." And she went on to the other side of her car. But anyway, speak up. They love to use the cigarette smokers. They'll constantly try to put smokers around you. And another thing, don't date smokers. God darn it, please. You know, here's the thing. If you do have the opportunity to date somebody as a targeted individual, make sure that there's somebody of high vibration, because do not hang out with people that smoke cigarettes or marijuana or drink in excess, because they're not going to help you through this. It's just going to take you further off your path. So choose people that work out and honor their health, honor their spirit. Choose people that honor the Lord, because in this program, he's your best friend. And I'm telling you that 1,000,000%. He's going to be the one that gets you through this. If you're going through this, there's a good chance you're an earth angel, you're a light worker, you're an empath, you're starseed, you're somebody very important here. You're here to change this vibration to a higher consciousness. And they're trying to prevent you from doing this because they feed off of everybody's miseries and traumas. And the thing about it is, you have God energy on you. So your energy signature is very powerful. So they're going to want to disrupt it. Somebody said, well, why don't they go after everybody? Because everybody doesn't have that energy. They go after people, like I said, with this unique energy that the Father gave us. Like I said, earth angels, empaths, starseeds, this healing energy, since they're no longer attached to the light, they have to try to drain that light energy from Father's kids here. So that's why you're targeted. You are chosen. You don't know it. Even if you don't call yourself a Christian, you don't say you worship the Lord, you have an anointing on your life. So get on your knees and surrender. And don't make worldly choices of drugs, alcohol, sex, cigarettes, because they're not going to lead to higher vibrational happiness. And you're going to suffer here still, even if you do make higher vibrational choices. But you don't need to add insult to injury by making lower vibrational choices, because you're already going through this program. You don't, like I said, you don't need to like ruffle a wound or you rub a wound. You need to actually put something on there that's going to make the wound less of a wound. So you be around people that are of the same like mind. So this is a quick video. Hope everybody's having a blessed Friday night. And I'm going to continue to make videos, and I'm going to send things out every day, because you know what? If my stuff that I put on here saves one person and I could help one person, then I've done my job in this earth. Because I'm telling you right now, somebody told me like, oh, I have 1,000, 10,000 followers and this stuff. You know what? When push comes to shove, I'm going to say something right now, and this is 100% the truth. Out of those 10,000, if you can find 2 people out of that 10,000 that if you were sick in the hospital and ready to die and they would have to put their life on hold for you, that would be there for you. So you don't need a lot of people. You're here to be connected to your tribe, which might be 1 or 2. But until next time, it's not the numbers, it's the quality. Until next time, I love you. God bless you. Don't give up. And this is a message for any targeted individual. Get close to the Lord. You're already chosen. I love you. Till next time, stay prayed up. Don't give up. Stay fighting. You're a hero. Walk as a hero. That's your birthright. Till next time, I love you.